Thank you very much indeed. If you're going to badger me like that, then I think I can promise most of you a fine and dry Easter weekend. For the reason, well, it all hinges at the moment on low pressure. It's a low pressure area that was affecting the Azores yesterday, gave them a real battering with winds not far off 100 miles an hour. But as it's coming towards Spain and Portugal, it's pulled the winds around to the south across the British Isles, but at the same time, it's brought those frontal systems ever closer. But it's the fact that the winds are in the south that's going to make all the difference as far as our weather is concerned in the coming week, and indeed possibly up to the weekend. But of course it's high pressure too, and we're going to keep high pressure with us for some considerable time, certainly reasserting itself around the middle of the week and lasting into the Easter period. But those southerly winds are going to bring much higher temperatures. In fact, around the middle of the week we could well see 23 degrees or so in some central parts of the country. Not so at the moment, but in the east it's still fairly bright with some sunshine, as you may well have seen if you've been watching the London Marathon. In the west though, thicker cloud has already brought outbreaks of rain to southwestern parts across much of Ireland, and that will continue northwards during the rest of the afternoon, getting up to the southwest of Scotland, into the rest of the West Country and to Wales as well. But for the north and east it stays dry and bright, although it will become, I think, increasingly cloudy. The wind freshening all the while too, so with that rain and the strong winds, feeling on the cool side in the west, also along that east coast, but in between a reasonably warm 16 degrees. During this evening and tonight the rain pushes further north, affecting most of Scotland as well as those western parts, but again the east of the country stays dry, clouds over, the wind increases, so both put together mean a much milder night than we've had for some considerable time. No frost at all. Lots of frontal systems still around tomorrow, but mostly affecting the west, so it is the west, parts of Scotland too, where it'll continue cloudy. You'll have pulses of rain from time to time, one or two drier interludes as well. Central and eastern parts though should stay dry. In the east itself fairly bright, a little bit of rain perhaps coming into parts of the Midlands and central southern England before the day's out. It is going to be windy. That means the east coast, some southern coasts remain on the cool side, but again inland if you get a little bit of brightness, up to 16 degrees or so. What's left of that weather system will move away during the course of Tuesday. It'll give some further rain in the northwest and maybe triggering one or two showers across other parts of the country, but otherwise most areas becoming dry, a little bit warmer too, and there will be spells of sunshine. Low pressure's gone by Wednesday, high pressure beginning to move back on the scene, so it is going to be dry, it is going to be bright, it's going to be quite a bit warmer in most places, up to 23 degrees for instance in the southeast. Perhaps a little bit of mist and murk around some of the coast, pulling the temperatures down somewhat, and the far northwest may continue to have some lightish showers. A little bit of a weather front approaches those northwestern areas on Thursday, but really it's the high pressure that we have to watch. It's going to dominate the weather throughout the latter part of the week and through the Easter period. So most places will be dry, there'll be a reasonable amount of sunshine, quite warm too. Maybe some disappointing temperatures along that eastern coast, and certainly I think come Friday with more of an easterly breeze picking up, that's where it'll be on the cool side, so best temperatures probably in the more sheltered west.